Well, a week ago, Democrats elected a new chairman of the Democratic Party of Arkansas. He is Grant Tennille, former aide to Governor Mike Beebe. He's a former AEDC director under Governor Mike Beebe, and he's a former aide to Governor Mike Huckabee at one point in time. He now joins us. Grant Tennille, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Roby.
We're going to talk politics today, not business for a change. You and I have
I
had
know.
economic development conversations before. I mentioned in your intro that you worked for a Democratic governor and a Republican governor, a Democrat most recently. Tell me why you are a Democrat.
I'm a Democrat because I think Democrats are the party that fight for people, that are committed to facts, that support science, and that work every day to try and improve everybody's life.
All right, let's talk about the legislature. This legislative session, I'm not quite sure where to begin with this legislative session. I've spoken with Democratic legislators and Republican legislators this week who have found the session close to unbearable, quite frankly, with all of the tension that's been up there and over-the-top opinions. I sometimes refer to it as performance art, not policy. Why are we where we are in the state of politics today, particularly in Arkansas?
I think that because of the rise of President Trump and his followers, that some people feel incredibly emboldened and empowered to push unilaterally and harder than maybe they ever have before. There is zero interest, as we've seen this time, in working toward the middle, in trying to find consensus, and in passing legislation that helps all Arkansans. I think these maps are a great example of it. They're illegal. They're illegal on their face. I believe that the courts will have something to say about them. I think that they put politics and party over the people, and I think ultimately they'll pay a price for it. I woke up this morning feeling better than I have in a while because I think there are now 4 to 6 seats in Central Arkansas that are in play.
Okay, well, I'll come back to that, but let's go to those congressional maps, particularly the ones that, I guess the aspect of the map that carves Pulaski County into 3 different congressional districts. Sebastian County was already split at this point in time, although there's not a lot of happiness in Sebastian County for being split. But the 3 district split in Pulaski County is what many people point to as the basis for a federal lawsuit. Will the Democratic Party of Arkansas, under your leadership, be a leader in that litigation? Will you be participating in that litigation?
I think the strategy behind that is still being developed, but certainly we are part of the conversation on how that strategy is being developed, and we'll play whatever role it is necessary for us to play to make that litigation successful.
Legislative redistricting is still underway. It'll probably be towards the end of the year before this is accomplished. I think right now there's 78 Republicans in the House. There's 27 Republicans in the Senate. They're in charge of redrawing those district lines. And by my math, I feel like they could get closer to 85 in the House, over 30 in the Senate if they did it the way they wanted to. What's going to lead Democrats out of this political wilderness that they have been in for the last couple of cycles?
Well, I think we've got to get back to communicating with Arkansans about who we are and what we stand for. I believe that we've seen over the last 18 months, excuse me, a Republican Party that is woefully out of step with what the vast majority of Arkansans want. They represent a small but incredibly vocal minority of people who believe in things like avoiding getting a vaccination, not allowing children to wear masks in schools for their own protection. And I think that the danger for the Republican Party is that there is and always has been a middle in Arkansas that maybe doesn't vote as regularly as any of us would like. And I think at some point here fairly soon, those people are going to wake up and they're going to have something to say.
Let's talk about what your other priorities are for the Democratic Party right now. I would imagine fundraising is a priority. I would imagine candidate recruitment is a priority. Where do you think the state of things are right now on those two fronts, and whatever else you may be establishing as a priority?
I have been not quite surprised, but overjoyed at the fundraising response in just the last week. We have county parties out there raising money for the first time in a long time. It's been fun going to the mailbox. I'll tell you that for the last 5 days. We are going to get our ship righted. We're going to get our financial house in order, and then we're going to be ready to fight. And we've got fantastic candidates all over the state. We have more and more every day showing up and saying they want to run. And so we're going to get serious about recruiting candidates. We're going to get serious about winning races.
There's a lot of strategy that goes into that. How are you going to overcome what right now, if you just look at how people identify in terms of party affiliation, it's close to 40% identify as Republicans, under 30% identify as Democrats. You got a gap there. How do you convert people with party affiliation?
Well, I think, again, we start talking to them about the things we know they care about. I think one of the things that we haven't mentioned yet this morning that's going to become increasingly divisive among Arkansans, I believe, is this plan by various Republicans to either eliminate immediately or drastically reduce the income tax. And as your own polling has shown, when you just ask people the naked question, would you like to never pay income tax again? Of course, the answer is absolutely. I would love to never pay income tax again. But when you start talking to them about the impact on schools, on hospitals, on colleges, on virtually every service that the state provides, and once they begin to realize that their way of life is going to be imperiled by doing this, I think they're going to turn around and look for somebody who's actually telling them the truth and talking to them about what our needs are and where we want to go as Arkansans.
All right. He is the new chairman of the Democratic Party of Arkansas, Grant Tennille. Thank you for being with us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Roby.
Just for the record, everyone, we did extend an invitation to Janelle Fulmer, the chairwoman of the Republican Party of Arkansas, to join us. She had a scheduling conflict, was not able to join us, but we look forward to having her on the program sometime soon. We are back with more right after this.